2-on-2, ready, break.
Hello and welcome back to Two in the Huddle. My name is David, and this gentleman across from me with a lovely mustache is my very good friend Shadi. Shadi,
Hello.
How you feeling? Where are you? You're in somewhere else again this week. You are an epic traveler, you annoying bastard.
Yeah, kind of like the most boring globetrotter because I just keep going to places in Europe. But in Liverpool this time, the city that I love. I studied here. I love the football club. So I'm coming back every year, and this time with my partner for the first time.
Lovely.
So good fun introducing her to my friends. But it also means that I have a bit of a... It would be funny if you could see my setup right now. And it's a bit funny, the Airbnb setup, and I have to hold my mic the whole time like this and all that.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's good.
As
fun
they
city to be
say,
in.
the show must go on, as they say.
Always.
And introducing your friends is it's either a good thing or a bad thing. It either explains why you are like you are, or she hates all your friends forever, and you can never meet them again. So I hope it's a positive one for you.
We're here for 5 more days, and we're going to travel to the Lake District with my friends. So I'm going to give her some more days to pass judgment.
Nice. Okay, that's fair enough. She's a good egg. I don't think she'd judge too hard. But good. And how was the stag do and all those things? You've finally fully recovered. I mean, you're going now to another town full of drinking, so I imagine that's just another war you need to fight.
It's not a stag do, but fully recovered. All good. That was just last week. That was heavy. Yeah, you're right. And there's 2 more stag do's to go through this year. Good fun. How are you?
Yeah, dude, I'm good. Barcelona summer is pretty much almost back in full flow. It was 27, 28 degrees here over the weekend. Air conditioning is currently on. And we go to this gym near the beach that's got like a bit of an outdoor area with a pool, etc. And the first time we kind of laid in the sun and read a book, which was nice. I lasted about 30 minutes before I melted into a brown puddle and thought, forget this, I'm going home. But ultimately, it was a good weekend. Had some paddle on the Friday. It's an interesting time as well in the NFL. Obviously, this is not a podcast just about what we do and where we are on the weekend, although that would probably be entertaining.
It is with traveling and everything. It's still a good chance for us to catch up. So why not?
exactly. But it is a bit of a lull period, right, where we are in that mire of the off season that is the NFL off season. OTAs and things like that are starting to come forward soon-ish. Couple of contract re-signings. You can tell it's like not the most busiest period when one of the top news articles that was on ESPN and NFL this week was George Kittle got up in the middle of the night and fought off a large spider that was trying to attack his partner. So this was like one of the top news stories. And I remember thinking, wow, it is a slow news day, right? Because that is up there. So
he posted on Twitter or something, right? Or on some.
And so he's come back from his injury swinging, which is good to see. And he's a real man's man, because I don't know how close I'd go to a really large spider. I might just leave that one on its own. But yeah, it does show.
You can always call me. It's okay.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, not if I'm traveling all over the place. It's hard to pin you down. So the news is slow. I think what's taking up a lot of bandwidth is the NBA playoffs as well. So I don't know if you're a basketball fan, but the NBA playoffs this year has actually got quite a lot of intrigue. The games are quite good. So I think that's absorbing a lot of people's sports brain. But we still have a couple of things that we can definitely talk about, other than George Kittle and the large spider. We mentioned the other day in a short about Matt Stafford getting a new contract. I wanted to ask you, Shad, for me, the first original thought when I saw Matt Stafford getting a bit of an extension, and maybe we can flash the numbers on the screen, but I think it was another year and $55 million. It made me think of how much more annoyed I was that they drafted Ty Simpson, because now he's definitely not going to play for another 2 years. So what exactly was the point? I don't know. Do you have any weigh in? Are you a Matt Stafford stan? You want to see him retire? You happy with his money? What do you think?
I'm never going to say a bad word about Matt Stafford again, because I was last summer on the whole... You remember there was like a train leaving town where everyone was saying his back is done, he will be injured a lot. There was a lot of problems about his getting old and having a bad lower back or something like this. You remember?
Yeah.
And I was part of that group. And then he proved me and a lot of people very, very wrong. Yeah. And so I'm a fan that he extended, and I think this guy still has a lot in him until he shows that he doesn't. So you've got to trust him to carry that team. I like it.
Yeah.
But same as you, I don't like the Ty Simpson. That's a bit... I was one of those that defended that pick a little bit at first. But I think it was maybe a bit stupid, to be honest. They are in this win now window. They should have gone something else.
Yeah, they could have done. I think I said Kenyon Sadiq was still on the board, Makai Lemon was still on the board, Casey Concepcion was still on the board. It didn't even need to be offense either. There was probably still a couple of defensive players they probably could have went within that spot. I think if you knew you were going to re-sign him, and this is where I think the disconnect came from, because when they made the draft pick, and you remember we were on the way to camping and we were doing the draft recap in the back of Melly's car. Shout out to Melly. And Sean McVay and whoever the GM is of the Rams, so I can't remember this exact moment, you could tell they were like beefing. It wasn't a pick that McVay wanted to make necessarily, because in his head he probably was always going to re-sign Matt Stafford, and you could get some easy young player, Anthony Richardson as a backup, who cares, or you can get an old head to sit on the bench for you, right, if you knew that he was going to play every game. So it annoys me in a fact of like, it shows a little bit of disjointment, which I don't think is a word. And I don't think they were on the same page in that regard. But overall, I'm not mad at Matt Stafford. Go get your money, bro. He's got a chiseled jaw, good set of hair, nice set of teeth. So he's America's man in that regard. So yeah, no problem.
Have you seen the memes about you're not beautiful, you just don't have money? And they showed Tom Brady in the beginning of his career.
Yeah, you're not ugly, you're just poor.
That's the one.
And the definition of that, dude. You know, money doesn't buy you happiness, but it can buy you a new face. That is for sure.
A better jawline for sure.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Get chewing on those charcoal rocks. But that was a big extension that happened the other day. Another big extension was Jack Campbell. So the linebacker from the Detroit Lions signed a 4-year, $81 million extension. And I think that was the number here, 51 million of that is guaranteed. I think he's been a bit of we won't spend too much time on Jack Campbell, no offense to him, but he's been in the league now for a few years. 2023, he was drafted. He's had 402 total tackles, almost 9 sacks, 19 tackles for loss. But I think he's a big energy, high impact guy on that Lions defense. So yeah, again, another kind of probably one of the bigger contract signings that we've had in the last week or so, but nothing else too much to move on there.
I've got here the list of highest paid linebackers, just for reference, just to see where he stands in comparison.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
And either this is not updated or it's not that big of a contract. Maybe this is not updated. I'm on over the cap. He's not even in the top 20.
Interesting. Let me ask the AI.
Yeah. What is it, $14 million? No, it can't be that, right?
It's 80. He's got $80 million over 4 years, which is an average salary of 20 mil per year.
Yeah, that is not updated.
And then it's 51 million guaranteed.
Right. Then over the cap is not updated. No, I think it would put him in the top 10 then. Or even maybe the top.
It puts him at second. So
after Fred Warner, right?
Yeah, Fred Warner's on 21 mil a year. Then you got Jack Campbell. Then you got Roquan Smith in Baltimore. Yeah. Aziz Al-Shaair in Houston. I don't know why I rolled the R there. And just to give it some swaz. And then Zach Bourne in Philadelphia. And I knew Aziz just re-signed that contract. And I think Roquan Smith wasn't too far behind. So, I mean, it puts him as the second highest paid linebacker, off-ball linebacker, just to be specific as well, because I think they pay those like linebackers who are kind of semi-edges and things like that a little bit different. So, fair play to Jack Campbell, fair play to the Lions. Not a team necessarily.
Jump. That's a big jump from not even in the top 20 best paid. Was it on a rookie contract before? I'm not sure. Could be, right?
If he's 26, if he's 2023, I think they maybe went a little bit early, but I mean, it's a good draft pick. I think they picked him up in that draft when they picked all those really good players. I think I've listened recently to a podcast that was doing the draft review of that draft 3 years ago. Yeah.
Because they say that after 3 years you can really judge a draft, and apparently 3 years ago everyone was shitting all over the Lions draft. They didn't like it. now in hindsight, turns out to be a really good draft in general, not only that pick.
Yeah, this is the year they took Jameer Gibbs at 12. They took Jack Campbell at 18, Sam Laporta in the second round at 34, Brian Branch in the second round as well. So, yeah, that was one of the best draft classes ever. But they now have to pay that draft class. Because that's one of the downsides of having a big draft where you get a lot of good players is you are eventually going to have to give somebody that bag. So Jack Campbell got his pay. Again, happy for him. Not really looking out too much for the Lions myself this year, but it is what it is. But no hate there. Another big signing, I guess if you can call it that, or an extension, was the GM of the Giants. So Joe Shcoen, and I think that's how you pronounce his name. As we have a quick look at the ESPN article here. Re-signed for how many years? 4 years, I believe. He had a multi-year extension. Now, this article is kind of hilarious, to be fair. And there's one really point I wanted to highlight. So it kind of just talks through they're set to give a multi-year contract extension. They're going to pair him with new coach John Harbaugh for many years to come. All that kind of good stuff. So he's been there since 2002. I think he came in the same year that Brian Daboll did. But obviously lasted a lot longer than Brian Daboll did. I think he was kind of instrumental in bringing in John Harbaugh. I'm literally going to mess that up the entire season.
Jim Harbaugh is Chargers, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly that. So his first season, they were 9-7-1 and won a playoff game. The last 3 seasons, they have been 13-38. The best part about this entire thing, I think, is when they talked about the trade. This article piece here is hilarious. So Shannon is considered most responsible for not resigning Saquon Barkley and allowing him to walk as a free agent to the division rival Philadelphia Eagles. He was also a factor in the Dexter Lawrence requesting a trade and eventually ended up with the Cincinnati Bengals. And his hard bargaining and reputations earned him a D+ in this year's NFLPA, which is the National Football League Players Association report. It was the lowest mark in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that Hard Knocks episode as well. I don't know if you ever saw that clip of him, I
just wanted to mention that, yeah.
Yes, talking with his sons about, Saquon and not making anything. I mean, sometimes people get rewarded for stupidity. I think, what saved him this year, and you can let me know if you disagree, I think was this year's, and maybe last year's draft class. Jaxon Dart coming in last year, who, we need to talk about Jaxon Dart in a second, by the way, as well, because he's been doing some lol things. Cam Scatterby came in, Malik Neighbors, and then this year Darvo Reese and Francis Mainoa. I think he's probably saved his job with a couple of good draft classes because the Giants do look good going forward in the next couple of years. Brian Burns was a good pickup as well.
Neighbors.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that he's done an awful job when it comes to the draft. I think he's just let some big pieces go. But sometimes you just get rewarded for being average. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Talking about Malik Neighbors, have you seen that it's looking like his injury is lasting longer than expected? Or it's heavier than expected? So that's
didn't he have he had a second surgery or something like this, right?
Yeah. So we're going to see when he's actually joining, which is not a good news for Giants fans out there. And I don't know how many Giants fans there are in Europe. I don't know if there's a big fan base of Giants in Europe, given how not successful they were for the last 15 years, maybe.
Yeah. Well, you say that being a Browns fan, so I don't.
Yeah,
I think
exactly. But I'm a bit of a nutter when it comes to these kind of things.
Shadi likes pain, as you can see.
I started following Liverpool when they were on the down
slope. Whenever Stuart Downing was
the
best player.
Roger Hodgins years. Anyway, it's not a football. Let's not talk about Liverpool.
Otherwise, I start crying.
But yeah, I mean, he's given us a lot of nice memes, right? Especially also he drafted Daniel Jones. He gave him this massive contract extension, I think, only to then let him go after... Was it 1 year? I think he let him go 1 year after the contract extension, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, in that, they wanted a whole year. I think in the same year.
Yeah, really?
I don't even think he made it out of that year, the extension.
So a bit all over the place, really, and doesn't surprise me with a D+. It's a weird one. Why? The timing is weird. You just got a new head coach. You're waiting to see what the new head coach can do.
Yeah.
Usually bringing in a new head coach also means bringing in a new GM after some time. Those things go hand in hand.
Yeah, I am.
So it's a weird timing. Don't know what to think of it, to be honest. But usually it's not a good sign when these kind of things happen, because it seems like there's a did you call it, like a disjointment?
Disjointment, which is trademark.
Unless John Harbaugh really said, "Well, this is my GM and I'm happy with him."
Yeah. I think that's what saved them. And they brought in a big name. That's a big name to bring in as a coach. You would have to think that the GM is a big part of that behind it. And the last two draft classes have been above average. I think well above average. If you look at the fact that we haven't had loads of stellar draft classes the last couple of years. Brian Burns, there's a couple of players they brought in. So again, I think that's what saved his job. But I just think the funniest part of that article was the D+, and that basically everyone thinks he's complete shit. And then you got more of a deal, which is like American politics anyway, in a nutshell. But speaking of politics, this is the other thing I was going to show, because the Giants are in a lot of media storms at the moment, which everyone has seen this, and I'm not the first person to share it. But Jaxon Dart introduced Donald Trump at some New York thing the other day. Have you seen this clip?
Unfortunately, yes.
There he is. And he looks Giga Chad. He looks like the kind of guy who would endorse Donald Trump as well. And look, we are an apolitical channel here. We do not give a flying fuck. That's got nothing to do with the sports. We do not care. But Abdul Carter cared. Abdul Carter cared enough to be like, "Doc, this shit was AI. What we doing, man?" That's the voice I imagine Abdul Carter speaks with. It's right, I'm black, so it's not racist at all. I can do these kind of things. And this kicked off a big Twitter storm thing. We talked about Malik Neighbors yammering on during the draft about things that he didn't like and being maybe not very well media trained. Shads, what do you think about a teammate posting this about another teammate?
Not a good look, man. Not a good look. Especially also what you said actually is good context with the Malik Neighbors thing. Also talking about teammates and talking about who should be drafted, who should not be drafted. Yeah. You don't see that. You don't see other teams doing that, right? And
no.
The funniest bit for me though were the comments, because people got crazy in the comments.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were also saying something like, "Don't bring politics into the sport. Stay out of politics. Just focus on your production and all that kind of stuff." While it was Jaxon Dart who brought politics into the sport, not the other way around, and he's just commenting on it, right?
Yep.
So the hypocrisy is always a bit funny of people on the internet. But yeah, man, Abdul Carter should stay out of that shit.
I mean, it's just not the good. And the best thing is, like, I think he's got a couple of. I think he's Muslim himself, right? So he's got a couple of sisters or aunts that were at the draft in hijabs, and right wing Twitter latched onto that like you would not believe. They could not get enough of that situation. Now this, I don't know if this tweet was real. It's really hard at the moment to find if everything on X is correct. But this is what Donald Trump posted about Abdul Carter. So I'm going to read this out and hoping that this is all 100% true. Abdul the Fool, already starting off with an absolute bang. That's what people are calling him. And they may be right. He's got more posts about Jaxon Dart meeting the president than sacks on the field. A lot of talking, very little production. Get in the gym. Get stronger, get tougher, because if this continues, you'll be shipped to Canada's fake football league quickly. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, I am not here to verify the validity of this tweet. The internet is a crazy cesspit of nonsense.
Wow.
But holy shit, I hope on everything that is holy that he absolutely typed this up.
I didn't know that Donald Trump was on 8 Mile.
Dude, Donald Trump gets out there, dude. He loves tweeting more than anybody I've ever met in my life.
Damn.
Yeah, that's absolutely top class. So yeah, if you've not caught up on this drama, go ahead and give it a Google if you want a good 15 minutes to waste and have some good laughs. The Giants are a fun team to follow. Funnily enough as well, speaking of the Giants, and you talked about Malik Neighbors going down, if they're going to try and replace him, not replace him in the long term, but replace him in the short term. Another player who went through some drama, let's call it this offseason, is Stephon Diggs. And he is now a free man, exonerated from all of his accusations. He was He was accused of assaulting his private chef in a pay dispute where he apparently choked out his private chef. I mean, that's some rich, fancy people shit right off the top when you're mentioning the private chefs, etc. But he is now a free man. And if he, for me, screams a giant, just because he's like got the attitude to be a bit of a wanker sometimes, and he hangs out with famous people and had that relationship with Cardi B, I could see Stephon Diggs in the blue of the New York Giants. What do you think about that?
New York Giants, okay. Just off the top of my head, I can't see Diggs. I think he's more of he's older, right? He's like in his 30s almost, or is he?
It's not a big contract you're giving him. Yeah, exactly.
No, exactly. So he's somewhere, he needs to go somewhere where he can help them immediately win games, kind of like a luxury piece.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Chiefs maybe need a receiver, but he's again like this kind of a bit undersized ex-receiver, yards after catch, like good route runner. Is not really this kind of. They have a lot of this type of profile already with Rashee Rice and their other receivers. So Chiefs need a receiver. He would fit there, but playing style wise, maybe not. What about the Rams? Maybe.
Yes, that is funny enough. I was just looking up before we got on teams with over $30 million in cap space because he was just let out of a $30 million or $23 million a year contract. Now I don't think he's going to get that again because he's getting older. I think you're probably going to have to pay him for maybe 1 year, 10 to 15 million, realistically. But teams that have the over $30 million in cap space, coincidentally enough, are the Jets. I don't think he's going there. The Patriots, I don't think he's going back to the Patriots because they're still bloody paying him from the last time. The Seahawks and the Indianapolis Colts. I don't see him in the Colts uniform. They're too beige. I feel like he wants a better city than that. I don't see that. The Commanders and the Rams. The Rams are the last on that list. Now, he would be... Like, they added that to that wide receiver core, dude. Holy goodness. They would be an absolutely dynamic... I mean, they're dynamic now. Like,
and they are already dynamic. At Rams, they love to collect receivers, and they love you to like these kind of players that they can shuffle around on the formation, that can play anywhere on the line.
Yeah.
Where you make it hard to predict before the snap. Where is each player? What's the role of each player? Where you can almost interchange them. So I think it would be cool there with the Rams. Yeah.
I think that would be a good pick. Other teams that do potentially also have space if he gets paid $15 million a year instead of taking like a $20-30 million contract. I think the Titans also have room. That'd be nice with Connell Tate. Give Cam Ward another nice target. The Chargers, again. I don't know about that, but Los Angeles is a very attractive place for a lot of players to go, especially the older ones, although you've got to pay a lot of high taxes in California. People don't love that part about it. And then the rest of the teams that we talked about. Maybe even San Francisco, that's an interesting place. They just got Mike Evans as well. Get like an older receiver core, but give them a chance to test this EMP theory, see if their legs fall off. But yeah, we'll see.
What about the... I'm just checking now the cap space. No. I was thinking about the Texans maybe, when you talked about paying taxes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No, but all jokes aside, I think we still don't know the Tank Dell situation.
Yeah.
Or is he fit? Tank Dell?
I think he was coming back. I think he will be back.
Yeah. But he is injury prone anyway. So a bit of depth can't hurt for the Texans, but I don't know if they have the cap space to pull it off.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know why, Stephon Diggs never played for the Texans, but I feel like he looks like a guy who's played for the Texans. I think I'm just conflating him and D-Hop sometimes. They have similar-ish hair. But yeah, Stephon Diggs is a free man. He was acquitted. Again, we are not a political channel, so we are not going to say wrongly or rightly. Did he probably do it? Probably. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. But he is available to be signed, and I'm very confident he will be picked up because he is a very good player. If I'm the Bills... did I let him go in the first place because of all the nonsense that's coming back? Again, there's lots of moving parts to this. But I think he'd make for an interesting session in New York, just for the drama. But that's about it when it comes to kind of like teams and players and kind of topics. The last thing I wanted to chat to you about, Shad, as well, something near and dear to our hearts because we are based in Spain. And last year we went to the first NFL game in Madrid. And last year we had I'm going to say the blessing, but we had the privilege to go and watch the Washington Commanders roll around on some grass with the Miami Dolphins.
That was the most boring NFL football game that I've ever seen.
I have been very lucky and very blessed and very grateful to have gone to quite a few of the games in Europe. I went to the very first one in Wembley, which was also the Dolphins against Eli Manning's Giants. We've been to ones in Munich. I saw Tom Brady. We went to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We've been lucky enough to go to quite a few. The games have tended to be stinky, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Again, it is a privilege, not a right. If they took the Premier League games, for example, an Arsenal game and put it abroad, I'd be fecking furious. So I think we should just be happy that we get these games that have actual value and meaning to the season. Having prefaced all of that to say, this year's game looks significantly more entertaining. So this year, then, this is just about to go on registration for pre-sale to access to early tickets, exclusive merchandise. So basically a T-shirt that you can only wash 3 times, but it will probably cost about $60. But the game is going to be the Atlanta Falcons versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Shads, talk to me. I mean, it's easily a more exciting game than last year. I think we can bloody agree for that quite easily. Yeah. But how does this game tickle your fancy, do you think?
I mean, Joe Burrow, being able to see Joe Burrow is already a privilege that not many people... if you want to see American football, yes, it's about the teams, but it's also about these star players and the star quarterbacks. If you can see just one of the 5-6 star quarterbacks once in your lifetime, you can be a very, very happy person. So that's cool. I think there's quite a big Atlanta Falcons fan base in Europe, or there might be, because there was this time with where they were a little bit successful in the 2010s, right? They had a good time.
Like the Julio Jones, Matt Ryan era.
Yeah,
they got to a Super Bowl and they had that infamous collapse against the Patriots.
Exactly. But I think Lorenz, for example, who we had on last year, he started following the Falcons a little bit during that time. Aaron started following the Falcons during that time. Yeah. So I think there is a bit of a community of Falcon fans in Europe that will be happy about this. Could be a good matchup. I don't know about the quality of the Falcons this year. New head coach. The quarterback situation is a little bit weird. So we're going to see. But listen, again, if you can see Joe Burrow, you take that. You have to see him. Personally, I prefer the Munich game this year. Lions against Patriots. That's quite cool. Two really... Like,
we can go look at all
in my head, those are 2 really historic teams. Lions are very traditional as well as a team, right? Have a really old history and rich history.
Yeah.
But on top of that, they're also good right now. Yeah. So that one would be a cool game, I think. And there's a lot of Patriots fans in Germany. I know that.
No, it's a great shot. I think there's a couple more players. If the Falcons Bengals is an interesting one, I think. It's a shame Young Wei Koo is not there anymore because he'd have been fun to see in real life. But Bijan Robinson's an interesting player. I would love to see him, I think, in person. Jamar Chase running a route in person would be cool to see as well. I think it's an interesting game. And again, like some of these games at the beginning of the year change, right? Like when we saw the Commanders and the Dolphins last year, the Commanders had been absolutely decimated by injury. No Terry McLaurin, no Jaden Daniels. We saw an old Bobby Wagner, which was cool, but like the team had just been absolutely torn apart. And the same with the Dolphins, right? I don't even think Tua. I think Tua played. Tariq Hill was gone. I can't remember if Jalen Waddle played, but like it just wasn't like the star power, and it's not their fault, right? Like these things happen.
And Dave, even when we went to London to see the Jaguars play the Dolphins,
yes,
that was also, I think it was decided by a field goal, and maybe we saw 1 touchdown if I'm not wrong, but not much happening.
No, well, we got a load of close up of Trevor Lawrence's hair, and that's about it. But I have weirdly enough seen the Dolphins more than any other team I've ever seen. It's because they used to send trash bags overseas, and I don't want to be rude. The Jaguars historically were shite. So they were always the team that was kind of picked to go abroad. But this is the full slate of games for this season. So we'll run through them just because I think some of them are really notable. I think the game of the year in the international series for week 1 has to be this game. San Francisco and Los Angeles, in Melbourne, Australia, which again, for getting them to get this game for week 1 and the size of this game is pretty nuts. So, like, the NFL is fully invested, right, in bringing the game overseas for a bit more commercialization, but also, again, to give, there is a lot of fans outside of the US as for us too, and kind of our community that we're trying to build. So it makes sense. But that is an absolute belter of a game. I think by far and away, probably the top one to start with. Then in week 3, you've got the Ravens at the Cowboys in Rio de Janeiro in the Maracana Stadium. That, again, is another belting game, to be fair to you. We'll see how the Ravens show up this year. I've got a lot of weight on the Cowboys. And I don't know why. It's like pressure. So I'd be intrigued to see how they play. Then you've got 3 games in London. The Colts, Commanders has a potential to be a bit of a mid game. Eagles, Jacksonville. And then the Texans and Jacksonville as well. So Jacksonville are going to be in England for pretty much the entire month of October. I don't know if they like that. I also don't know if they sell their stadium out very much either, because I think that's probably a little bit of why they probably make more money abroad than they would from just staying in Jacksonville. And then a new one added to the circuit this year is Paris. So the Steelers at the Saints. I think the Saints is cool, that New Orleans and then the link to France. So I think that's a cool team to pick for the first game in the Stade de France on October 25th. Again, the Steelers.
It's a cool stadium as well. Stade de France. I've been there for the Euros 2016, but the infrastructure around it is a bit of a nightmare. So let's see how they sort this one out. I remember there were also problems when Liverpool was playing Champions League final against Madrid. And I think it was also in that stadium a couple of years ago, and like they got assaulted by police and stuff like this. It's a bit of a weird stadium, but once you're inside, it's really cool. Yes,
yeah, and I'm sure they'll sort this out. I think the NFL crew seems to be a little less demanding than the football soccer crew, right? So I don't think you get the ultras and you won't get the same bits. Hopefully, right? They probably would have thought about this. And then we talked about the Madrid game already in the Bernabeu again. The Bengals at the Falcons. Then Munich, Pats Lions. Lions make sense with Munich and Amara St. Brown. We're probably going to see him on all the promotion materials talking German, which is great for him. And then the last one wraps up with Mexico City. So San Francisco off again on another bit of traveling. And they will face the Vikings in Mexico in end of November. So let us know in the comments which one of your games is closest to you, which one you're most excited to see. I think there are a couple of belters on the list this year. And I think because of the amount that it is being seen now internationally, I think we're going to get better games going forward. So that's exciting to see. And hopefully we'll get to at least one this year, Shad, and then we can maybe do a little bit of a live show when we're on location.
Absolutely. I really don't care about I know we said a bit of bad things about the quality of the games, but I'm just happy about any NFL game that I can see at this moment. So
exactly,
if we can go anywhere, I will love it.
Yeah, we'll sign up for that pre-sale. But that was the international series. We wanted to finish up for today. We're just having a quick look at a NFL memes, the NFL memes IG page, because there was just a couple of funny ones and I just wanted to show Shadi because I don't think he's seen them yet. And then we'll break out of here for today. This was the first one of all the new rookies. Even Mekhi Lemon's not even doing anything zesty. He just got a normal face. And then you see this guy standing out like a sore thumb. He's almost like a cartoon character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm just really happy to be here kind of guy. Like, but he's getting a lot of love. Like I think people are really enjoying his off-season, not even antics, just like his personality. I think he's going to be a good personality for the league.
No, definitely antics. Definitely. Have you seen the one with Kirk Cousins that they did together?
Yes,
like the photo shoot.
Yeah, the Step Brothers photo shoot.
Yes, explain it to the people.
So they basically did a full photo shoot dressed and acting like the like Step Brothers, like the Will Ferrell movie. But not only did they just do the photo shoot, they also did like a couple of scenes reenacted. We're going to have to put some screen grabs on, Shad, while we're talking about this. I haven't got time to find it now. But if you have not seen it, it is hilarious. And they've obviously played into this character, right, of them being like a couple of nerds. And they're not shying away from it. They lent all the way into it. So I give them mad respect for that. But it is bloody funny, to be fair. So looking forward to seeing Mendoza go. There's another one about someone please give Fernando Mendoza a different size helmet. He's out here looking like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, but no one looks worse in a helmet than Aaron Rodgers. It's a big Jimmy Neutron size looking head. It's awful to me. This is also funny as well. This jersey is about to go triple platinum in the Mexican community. Because think about how many Mendozas there probably exist.
What a surprise that they didn't send the Raiders to the Mexico City this year.
Yeah, literally. That would have made more sense just for this jersey, to be honest with you. But I think we're going to see a lot of cholos wearing this shirt for many years to come. And they're not even like, imagine if your name was Mendoza. You don't even have to pay extra to get it changed. You just buy Fernando's jersey and say it's your name. So that's an easy out for them. I'll give them that. That's nice. And last one. I think this is all just Fernando Mendoza memes. This is the last one you were talking about. Tom Brady out here looking like a Terminator villain.
Damn.
This is one of them scenarios. He actually does look like that, to be fair. He looks AI generated. And the man's like 50. So again, money doesn't buy you happiness, maybe. But maybe it buys you looking like that until you're 50.
Looks like he learned a thing or two from his ex-wife.
Yes. He looks like he's going to be on Zoolander, that movie with Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
Where they all act like models.
Oh, yeah. So they're saying it actually about... Now he does her job, okay.
Yeah, dude. This man could have had a nice retirement on a boat hanging out with his kids. He said, bun that. I'm going to do football commentating and I'm going to be a model.
And I'm going to be the best at both.
Yeah, literally.
Because he's the best at everything.
Side questing harder than any man I've ever met in my entire life. Yeah. But again, fair dues, dude. If you would, you could. You know what I mean? Let's be honest with you. And this is the last one.
Oh, they stole my joke.
They stole it, and I knew it was coming as well, but I didn't want you to take your thunder taken. Proof that you aren't ugly, you're just poor. Truer words have never been spoken. This is Tom Brady when he was, I think, first or second year in the league, and this is him like 40 years later, looking younger than he did when he was drafted. So
I've probably seen this specific one before. I just forgot about it, but yeah.
No, don't do that to yourself. It was they stole it from you. They've been listening to the conversations. But that is it from us today. Like I said, today was going to be a bit of a fun one because we are in that period where the NFL is not having too many stories, but there's always some things to talk about, and we always like to show up and have a conversation about them. That's the thing that we enjoy. We've got a couple episodes coming up in the next couple of weeks, and I think we are going to take a little bit of a break on the long-form content for the rest of June. Just Shady can stop traveling for a second. And then we'll kind of kick back in July as things get into camp, and then we get a few more bits to talk about. We will keep the short content going. So if you follow us on Instagram and TikTok and things like that, you'll still see our faces and we'll still be having some things to talk about. But yeah, some fun things on the list for today. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. Shady, anything else from you before we let these lovely people get back to their day?
Yeah. So it's true there's not much happening at the moment, especially, of course, on the field, right? But that's the cool thing about the NFL. It's also about all the off-the-field stuff. If Americans are better at a thing than Europeans, it is making a show and giving entertainment. And it is an entertainment product. It's not only a sport. So there's a lot to follow off the field. So that's really funny. I'm going to go all into fantasy preparation this week because I've got my draft on Sunday. Maybe we can talk about that on Monday. Maybe we can take apart my draft a little bit.
Nice.
But yeah, I've done a couple of mock drafts, also with Lorenz, who was here as a guest last week. Good fun. And it's like, you can get really nerdy about this stuff. I even tried to go all statistical. I involved AI. It was really fun. So that's my week. While I'm in Liverpool on the Lake District, I'm going to research some draft stuff.
Lovely.
And lastly, Dave, I want to say congratulations for the Premier League title. 22 years in the making. Arsenal has done it.
Yes.
I'm happy for you. I'm not happy for Mikel Arteta. I'm happy for you, though. And congratulations, man. Enjoy it as much as you can. And now the Champions League final coming.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to be smiling all summer. No ridicule, no memes being sent to me about bottle jobs or the tears, nothing. We've done the job. So yeah, onwards and upwards. And fantasy definitely. We'll cover that next week, actually. We'll maybe pick apart your draft and see how we got on and see what the people think and maybe give some predictions to how you'll get on. But other than that, enjoy yourself, be safe out there, and we will catch you all next week.